Being recorded.
All right, hello friends. Today I'm going to be talking you guys through how I automate the reporting dashboard that I give you in module 4. So after you go through the money test and enter all of your results manually in this reporting dashboard, I just wanted to do something a little bit extra special for anyone who is interested and show you how I automate these entirely. No, not entirely. There's 2 numbers that we have to put in. The ones that I can't put in automatically are your ad spend and then your number of daily clicks. But literally anything other than that can be automated using a combination of whatever software, like whatever CRMs we're using, these Google Sheets, and then Zapier or Make. Those are the 2 like connectors that we use a lot of times. So let me pull the dashboard up on screen. I'm going to give everyone a copy of it as well, because there are some changes that I made to this one instead of the other ones. Let me just make this a copy URL. And there. Oh, I'm not even familiar with Pabbly. What's that one, Dara?
It's one of the lifetime deals.
Oh,
So
it syncs with everything?
I mean, it's not as robust, but it's runs all my, I can't remember what it's connected to, but the person who I hired to create my stats dashboard set me up with all of it. So
nice. Yeah. And as long as request access to the doc. Let me change the permission on it. As long as you're able to use tag, like some type of tag trigger, basically you can use anything with it.
Like my understanding, it was just going straight to the cart from the emails and not to the full sales page, but they all got the $997 price point.
Hold on,
and now what she's updated in emails is it going to the sales page.
You can tell I usually just do live streams because I'm like, how do you work Zoom?
I will like double check all of that and just get in touch with her.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. So let me know if you guys, Sarah, let me know if you got access. Brooke, is that showing up for you now? Can everyone see their copy of the dashboard? Perfect. Yes. Okay. Amazing. So when I start creating these for a new client, the first part of the process that I do is I focus on this like visual view of the dashboard. If anyone missed the live stream last week, I was going through step by step and analyzing like why I use this visual dashboard. It helps me see, you know, the throughput of any single funnel. Let me add a little bit of context, as I typically use these for evergreen. You can set them up for launches, but like if you're going to go through the trouble of automating all of this, we want to be automating it so that it's evergreen. We're constantly seeing people moving through the process and then making tweaks to our sales process based on that. Of course, you can set it up for a launch, but then like once your launch is over, all of the work of automating it just is over as well. So I'll add that caveat. So the first thing that I do is I ask myself, okay, what do I want to visually track for this funnel from start to finish? So I'm sure everyone has clicks. Not everyone has leads. So you would ask yourself, is it a lead generation entry point, or is it like a Tripwire? I guess Tripwire, but you still generate leads. Is it a self-liquidating offer style, that low ticket where you're going straight from the sale or for the sale? Then your second one would be either leads or purchases. And since you're doing your dashboard, you can name it whatever you want. So like for the strategy system, it could be like $897 purchase. Right? So then I know essentially what's happening based on how many people are clicking here. For me, that's my whole dashboard: clicks, leads, purchase. I don't have order bumps. I don't have one-time offers. So I would be fine with just these 3 guys right here. If that's you, you can basically just delete this whole middle part. So just delete them. And then all you would do is just merge those bad boys together, and that would be your complete dashboard. Okay, go back to what it looks like. If your sales process, so let's say I have one sales process that's a $44 purchase on the front. There, it's a tripwire, so they collect, but why is bump and OTO after the $897 purchase? Because nobody can purchase the bump without having purchased the $897. So the conversion rate for our bump will be the number of people who purchased, sorry, the number of people who purchased the bump divided by the number of people who purchased overall. So we wouldn't look at the purchasers versus leads, because that's not a data point that's giving us any information. We want to know what percentage of people who did this action did this next action. Technically, you could like stack these, right? Because your OTO would also only happen for these people who purchased, but just logically, it's easier to set it up linearly. So you'd see then the number of people who bought your thank you page one-time offer versus your total number of purchasers. So these two numbers would just be the percentage of people doing that. I have one coaching client who has a bump, then they have a one-time offer that's a full price point, and then there's a downsell that there's a payment plan. So they would actually add in one more of these squares. And the best way that I always just add an extra one is I just highlight the number of people before it and then just copy and paste. Now that I say this out loud, I'm like, wait, is it going to do that? No, it's not. Shit. Okay, if anyone needs more boxes, like one more, let me know and I'll just quickly customize this spreadsheet for you afterwards. But first thing, we figure out our funnel, clicks, leads, purchases. The example that I'm using, they have a $21 bump, and then they have a $127 one-time offer. So that would be the first step of the funnel, okay? Or not the funnel, of setting up this dashboard. Now, what we want to do is we want to say, hey, every single time a lead comes into the pipeline, our CRM is then going to send that information to this spreadsheet. And this is the tab that isn't on the one in the program. So I'll get, like, you guys now have a copy of it here, but it's this data tab or data tab. I don't even know how to say the word data tab. What we're going to do is we're going to then ask ourselves, okay, what information do we want to know about these people so that every single time that we have a new lead, it's going to come over here and it's actually going to populate that in terms of our leads. So the ones that I typically do is the date they opted in. I want to know how many leads I'm getting a day. I then want to know their first name. Sometimes you can just get rid of the last name and just do first name, email, depending on what you ask for on your opt-in. Then the next column is email. And this is something I just recently started doing for client stuff, is I actually started separating out their paid and organic side of the equation so that they're both spitting out onto this spreadsheet, and this dashboard is showing the funnel overall organically plus paid to see it all in one place. If you're not going to analyze these two numbers separately, or if you're only wanting to analyze your ad traffic because it's older traffic, so they most likely don't know you, so their conversion rate is going to be lower, we probably don't need the source column either. So I would just start with something simple like date, first name, and email, and then don't worry about these columns just yet. What we do at this stage is dependent on what your CRM is. So can everyone just put in the chat maybe what email provider you use? I'm on Infusionsoft, so my old school Infusionsoft needs to use the Zapier link. ActiveCampaign, okay, so we have ActiveCampaign, Sarah's on ActiveCampaign, Brooke's on ConvertKit. With ActiveCampaign, there's the ability to do that direct integration You don't use the CRM. Do you use the automations for Active Campaign? Like when somebody comes in, that's how you deliver the emails? Okay, you use Airtable and Zap.
Yeah, so when somebody purchases, it comes through Thrivecart, and we have Zap set up to populate our Airtable database. And then Thrivecart purchases also populate the automations in Active Campaign.
So you are using automations though?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, because that's where it is. Let me stop my screen and I'm gonna open up an Active Campaign one, but I don't wanna open up client data. For Active Campaign, they do have that direct Google Sheets integration in their automations. So for this automation, how perfect. The one that I pulled up literally went straight to the one that has an example. Okay, so in the Active Campaign automation, where we're applying all of their like source data before they get sent off to the automation that delivers the onboarding emails or the opt-in emails, we use this Google Sheets sync. I think it's under CX apps. And it's halfway down here, Google Sheets, you're gonna add a row. So for Active Campaign, you're then just going to go in and select the spreadsheet. This one, we're then going to select the funnel name. Then we're going to continue. And then you're just going to do like the connection of, what was the first one? The date. So then we're going to need a date. So for me, you could do subscribe date. I set specific like custom fields of when they opted into that specific opt-in. And then you would just sync it to whatever the data is, or the date column is here. So column A. Then just continue on. So then the next one is first name. This search so bad. Column B. And then the third one is email. Column C. And then you would just finish that up. And that's how you sync the original data here that .com. I'm gonna send you guys another version of this at the end, like use this one instead, or like use the one that I sent you at the end, because I just realized it. Oh no, it is syncing there. Okay, perfect. So every single time now you have a new contact, Active Campaign's gonna add it, and it's gonna keep automatically counting up those number of leads. Okay, so now that part is automated. There's a conditional logic formula that's set up for this column that's going to automatically highlight any duplicate leads for you. So I use this for clients to be like, hey, somebody's opted in 3 times. Is there an issue with the tech of getting them the actual like thing that they're buying or that they're opting in for? So that's just automatically set up on the spreadsheet there, but just why it's green. If I did test 2, it's not going to light up like that. So this is step 1 for it. With ConvertKit, Brooke, was it you that had ConvertKit? Remind me if ConvertKit has the ability to sync this way. I actually don't recall, because the one client that I'm using ConvertKit with, okay, I have no idea. The one client that I'm using ConvertKit with, we use Make to send, so Make is just another version of Zapier. When they buy in Go High Level, we send them to this dashboard using Make. And so it's like, when somebody purchases this tag, come over here and put them on this dashboard. Let me show you that part of it, and then we can look into this specifics of the ConvertKit stuff afterwards, Brooke. Let me pop up the Zapier account just again. Let me go into one, but all right, Facebook ads reporting dashboard. Where'd our chat go? Use Zapier to tag them from Kajabi's purchase. Okay, perfect. So then if you're using Zapier to tag them, this would probably be the same thing that you did. So when somebody opts in, this is a Go High Level version of it. So in Go High Level, we have to use a webhook and put the webhook into the automation to make it fire. So that's one way. The other way, in a different Zapier I'll have to open up after, is when when a tag is applied through whatever tool, in this case it looks like your Kajabi, you can do the tag applied, then the next two steps to output it to this spreadsheet as well. So I'll just take you through the quick steps to show you what that looks like. So for Go High Level people, all we do is we just say, we just literally set up a webhook by Zapier and a catch hook. And by the end of it, it's just going to output this webhook URL, which then you go into your Go High Level automation and just pop that webhook in when somebody opts in. For everyone, the next step that I always do is a formatted by Zapier. We're going to change the date and time so that it reports in this like very specific, simple way, because otherwise it's like 12 digits or 11 digits long or something. And it just makes it harder to actually tell what date people opt in. So I do a quick date time. I can figure that like based on the date created in your first tool. And then I say, change it to that simple format. And that's all this step does. It just changes the date. Lastly, we then output it to the row. So find the row, put in the date, add in the first last name, and then I think that's all. Yeah, so email, first name, and then the date. And that's all you would need for this version of it. So that's how you set up the Zap to come over and catch it. Let me pull up a tag Zap and show you what that would look like. Actually, I'm gonna do it on the spot because then I don't have to log in and out of different Zooms or different Zapiers. Okay, so for me, what would I do? I do keep. I would say tag. Oh yeah. I would add that. Then I'm just gonna choose there. Choose contact. Okay. I'm gonna choose their email usually. And then I'm going to choose, let's say for me, somebody became a lead from my bro marketing article. And then that's literally the trigger for that. And then the next two steps are exactly the same. Date, format, create spreadsheet row. That's going to then come over here, add the next person. And then now we have 3 leads populating here. So this whole setup process, it's like literally, it takes probably an hour or 2 to get it all rocking and rolling. But let me tell you, when it's done, you're like, oh, me, I have all this data right in front of me. I can make all these decisions. It's so great. So the next thing that we need to do is, okay, the leads are coming in, we're seeing them show up. This spreadsheet I'll get to in just a minute. Actually, let me change the date to this, because you'll see this extra spreadsheet is going to start automatically pulling in your results so that you'll be able to then analyze things like your daily metrics to see, hey, what changes did you make on which day and how did that impact your ad results for the next few days? Because as we're testing, as we're trying to, see what's working, improve the sales process, things can fluctuate so much on a daily basis. So did the change that we just made actually hurt our results, or is it helping our results? Is the conversion rate going up? Or the cost per leads going down? Their average order value increase? All of that will start to populate automatically as you fill out this dashboard. Okay, so this part is automated. It's popping out here. The next thing that we need to do is start adding in what happens next. So actually, let me go back to this page. However many purchases you have, so this one has 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to come over here and make that many columns beside the emails. So for this purchase, it would be what the hell is the price? 27 or $44, and then the 21, and then the 127. You can put the names of your products there so you know exactly what it is. But what we need to do now, and this is all Zap, I don't know how to do this with any other tools, is we essentially wait for when this purchase happens. For myself, it's based off of the tag applied to Infusionsoft. For my client with Go High Level, they do the webhook again. It's just like as soon as they enter that automation, the webhook comes over and does this next part. For ActiveCampaign, when a purchase is made, I'm just trying to think because it's like these are 3 specific purchases. It's not any purchase. It's like when somebody buys the $44 thing in ActiveCampaign, I believe we use a webhook. So when they enter the ActiveCampaign automation for the purchase delivery, you put a webhook over there. So I don't remember how to do webhooks in. I don't think it's a third party.
I think it's under conditions. Yeah.
Condition, yeah, right there.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah, perfect. So you put in a webhook, and then I'll show you what the steps are. So for our $44 offer, you create your webhook. This is the new step that we do is we look up the spreadsheet row. So we say, hey, go find the person based on their email. If we can't find them, don't do it because, if you're not tracking organic, those organic sales emails or those organic emails aren't going to be on this spreadsheet. So if no, just skip it. But if you do find them based on their email that's in this row, then update the spreadsheet. And all you're going to do and come over and update using the row that they just found in the step before is you're going to add the price of that product. So when somebody purchases, it'll automatically come over here and say that person bought a $44 offer. And now you have a purchase show up, your sales conversion rate automatically showing, your revenue over here. It's going to show your earnings per lead as well as your average order value. And if we had spent some money, let's say we spent $10 and got 10 people to the page, it's then going to, well, that's weird formatting, swap that. I'm going to send you guys another one after I see like the small little problems with this reporting dashboard. I tried to make a quick one that everyone could copy, but I'll format that so it's cuter and send you out another version. Then all of this will start to populate. So we can see that our return on ad spend in this hypothetical scenario is 4.4. If that person, this one, if that person then went on to buy the $127 one-time offer, that's now going to show the conversion rate over here. It's going to update everything automatically. And so if this was actually what was happening in real life, we'd be like, great landing page conversion rate, insane purchase conversion rate. Oh, our bump could use work on the one person who didn't buy it. Our sales conversion rate for our one-time offer is great. Obviously, there's not enough data to analyze it all. But for this part, you just repeat that step based on how many offers you have. So this in here, it's the exact same thing. So once I create it for that first product, I literally just come over here and duplicate the Zap, create it for the bump. And then this client has 3 different price points that bump could, or sorry, the one-time offer could be, because they get it at the one-time offer price here, or they can buy it full price in a different spot. They also have a coupon to get it for this 177 price. So we had to just create 3 prices, because it could be like 127, 177, or 255. And that just required 3 different Zaps to make that part happen. Is everyone following along? Any questions on that? Takes them in ConvertKit. Perfect. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so if I'm using ActiveCampaign and the purchase automations go into ActiveCampaign, and then I put a webhook in there,
Yeah,
where do I get that webhook URL? Is that from Zapier?
exactly. Let me open it back up on the screen. So when you create the webhook by Zapier as the first step, as soon as you publish it, it's going to give you the webhook URL.
Okay, and then I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that into the ActiveCampaign webhook.
Yeah, nailed it.
So then somebody comes in through ActiveCampaign, they go through that webhook, and then it triggers the Zap.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it's like in ActiveCampaign, you have your automation that delivers the lead magnet if you're doing leads, right? That's how it spits it out on the sheet. Or if you're doing a self-liquidating offer, they just purchased that specific offer, it spits it out on the sheet directly in ActiveCampaign the first time. But even though they're maybe buying the bump and the one-time offer in the same transaction, you need to trigger those 2 as extra steps.
Right.
Right? Like it can't come to the spreadsheet and do all of those things at the same time. At least I haven't figured out a way to automate that yet.
So if they buy the bump, that's got to have its own webhook. If they buy the OTO, that's its own webhook.
Yeah.
If mine is set up so it's freebie, Tripwire, and the Tripwire is an SLO.
Yeah.
So it's like freebie, and then you can get the SLO for like 40% off. So it's the same. Okay, it should work. But then I'm just going to need different funnels for whether they come in through the freebie and get the SLO at a discounted price, or if they just come in through the traditional SLO.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. I always track different entry points. So for this spreadsheet, I'll have like a master one per client. And then essentially on the bottom, once I have this funnel automated, I'll just duplicate it again and track the next funnel in a different view. Okay. So it's like, I want to have this like as my one single source of truth for each of the funnels so that I can know which steps to automate along the way. Okay. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Do we love this idea? I think this is the funnest stuff ever. Whenever I automate a new part of it, I'm just like, whoa, this is great. Because like, let me show you some of the nerdy ass spreadsheet formulas in the next part of it here. All right, pull it up back up on screen. So this is the part, like I always I don't lock this tab because I'm not sure if locking it and if Zapier actually needs it to be unlocked to interact with it. So I don't lock it. I just tell my clients, I'm like, don't fuck with this page. Please don't touch anything on this page. Just don't do it, please. Okay. And what I'll do is on this one, the daily reporting tab, I'll lock everything except for these 2 columns that are the only ones that we need to manually enter them in. And I've broken them down here by individual day, and you can just like keep expanding that. Because when you're actively optimizing a funnel, like a change that you make yesterday, I actually did this yesterday. I split test. We have a $37 self-liquidating offer that has a 37 bump, a 197 one-time offer, and then a 290 one-time offer all at once. And I was split testing the front end headline on the landing page. And from yesterday, we went from like a 3.8 conversion or 3.8% conversion from cold traffic to purchase. I made that change with the split test, and we immediately in a day jumped to 6.7 or 6.6. So that is data I want to see on a daily basis. So when I'm actively testing it, I break it out here. But if you're like, listen, this is kind of running in perpetuity, you could make each one of these rows a week, right? Like when I set up some of my front end evergreen funnels, I joke that I'm like, I love the concept of low enough budgets that like literally you could not check on them all week because you know the leads are going to come in for X amount of price and convert at X amount. So it's like I could check on those ad sets once a week and be fine with it because I've tested it, because I went through the process of optimizing the sales funnel so much. If that's the case, then it would be like November 1st to November 8th. That's the week. Wait, hold on. Shit. I just realized you can't do that because then it breaks the formulas on this one. So it has to be daily because some of these nerdy ass formulas. If you need it weekly, we can change it weekly, but we have to rework some of the formulas. Okay, so here's what's happening. You come on a daily basis, in this case, while we're testing it, and you update your ad spend. I usually do it for the day before. So come in on Monday, I update it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to enter my ad spend. I'm going to enter how many people hit whatever the traffic page is. This is then going to automatically count the number of leads that came in on that day. So let's expand this. Let's go like this and just make a few. So as this is populating, this report is going to come over here and actually say, okay, this many people did that on that date. So this formula is just saying, hey, on this sheet, if the date is this, tell me how many people had that date. Okay, so number of leads shows up. Again, number of purchases is going to do that same thing, but the formula is just a little bit more advanced because it's like, hey, let me know how many purchases in that one row are less than 0. Because, hold on, I gotta go 44 to make it make sense for the conversion rate. And then it's going to pull in the total purchase conversion value so that you can get your average order value for that day and your daily ROAS. So all of this happens automatically. The only thing that you need to touch on this sheet is updating this. Kind of cool, eh? Freaking love this. Anyone who runs ads for clients, this is just such a great way to automate your reporting and show them visually the throughput of a sales funnel to be like, this is what the data is telling us. Like, this is where we need to focus on improving it. Question, pulling traffic from analytics or clicks from ads manager. That is dependent on you. I typically do, what do I do? I obviously pull ads from ads manager. I have one client who pulls the traffic directly from Go High Level. And then another one, I pull the ad data straight from Facebook. Because even yesterday in that example, when I turned on new ad sets, it said in Google Analytics that we had like 200 people the minute the ads went back on. I was like, what the? But we only had 80 reported leads in Ads Manager. So I just report from Ads Manager on that one versus the Go High Level numbers and Analytics both said that a lot of people showed up. But in my mind, I was like, is that bot traffic? Because I just turned those ads on. There's no way that an ad immediately goes live and 200 people click it. And then no sales with it as well. So for me, I just went with ad data on that. Yeah, all of these little things are like nuancy and specific to what everyone's tech stack is. So for somebody on Go High Level versus Infusionsoft versus active campaign, there might be like a little elements that you just have to slightly tweak to have it show up. Or in the example of that client having 3 different price points that the one-time offer could be, like the one-time offer was 127, but they could also buy it at different later stages of the funnel. And they wanted to look at the data from that dashboard, not just what's happening immediately, like as people are coming into the funnel, but we're also looking at it 90 days down the line once they go to a conversion event, which is like a $5,000 product. So they want those $5,000 products to come back, find the contact that purchased it through that entry point and mark that so that we can track the like longer term ROAS. Because in this case, we're spending $1 and getting 30 cents back. So I keep saying it's like we're getting ads at a discount. Like we're getting leads at a discount. We are paying 70 cents on the dollar for leads, right? That's the way that I'm positioning it. But we know that then in the conversion event, which is a live something that they take them through their whole process and then they buy this $5,000 offer, we know that like 75% of people that buy the $5,000 offer historically have come through this entry point. But when we know the ROAS over a long enough time period, because we visualize the data this way, it just allows us to continuously invest at a loss to generate those leads confidently, right? Because if we don't know if they turn into sales, spending money on leads consistently is silly. But it's like once we know the throughput of that and it's like right in front of you, there's the data, this is how this has been performing for the last year, then you're like, well, fuck, should we spend 3 times as much on our lead gen and get 3 times as much throughput to our launch events because we know that this is such a like sequence? This is where I always feel so grounded in ads because ads are going to fluctuate. CPMs are going to go up. Just it's going to cost more for clicks in the future. But if we know with certainty that the process that we control, our sales process and how we're moving that attention through it, converts in the long run, it just makes you so much more chill at weathering the storm of unpredictability, right? Like it's Black Friday this week. I anticipate some of my typical funnels to absolutely tank, but we know that that's fine. We can handle 5 days worth of triple the lead costs or 5 days of no sales on our trip buyers because it's just going to resume. And I'd rather keep the ads going and do less active management because it's just like at the end, it's all going to balance itself out, right? As the CEO for my business, I'd rather be spending my time in other places other than like panicking, tweaking every time an ad goes sideways. Random question. My current ads manager will start a new ad set and spend anywhere from $50 to $200 a day on that set. If it's not profitable within 72 hours, she's turning it off. I'm taking my ads back over and starting it next week. They can opt into my webinar and choose a time within the next 24 hours. Then cart is open 72. So technically we won't know for 4 days if that lead becomes a purchaser. Most do buy on the webinar. My question is, how long do you typically let ads run before turning off? Like 7 days or shorter or longer? Okay, this is a good one. It's a little bit nuanced just because, let me say I used to be completely against tools like Hyros. I was like, why do we need a Hyros when we have beautiful dashboards like this that we can just automate with Zapier? But I have been converted in the last like month. I have a client who we spent almost $100,000 on this self-liquidating offer. And I was just like, I need the insight of which ad is doing what at that scale. I need to know if Facebook's accurate at telling me who is purchasing. So if you're doing things at scale, like $200 a day is like starting to get into that place of, oh shit, okay, like I'm probably going to start scaling this up soon. I'm telling you this because when you spend $50 to $200 a day on an ad set and then there's a delay, so technically let's say on the 200 side, 5 days later, you need to spend $1,000 before the first purchase can come out the other side. Then it's like, it's like, are you getting the right data of where that purchase actually came from on the other side, especially if you're running close ads, right? Because the close ad, if they're seeing those sales retargeting ads at the low $1 a day amount, the attribution is always going to go to the close ad because it's the last thing they clicked. So the close ads actually pick up your tracking even more to see which front end ad is bringing in the right people to the webinar. And so for that, what I usually do is I get really granular, or not granular, I get really just focused on first my CPL versus my EPL. Like I want to make sure that overall the pool of people that I'm coming into is profitable and my earnings per lead is as high as it can be by focusing on the throughput first. So it's like, I honestly think, and you hear me say it like a gajillion times in the program, ads only amplify what is or isn't working in your sales process already. And anything that we're fixing from the paid side is usually 95% of the time, if I had to guess, going to help us on the organic side anyways, right? Like these small tweaks and optimizations and improvements and trying to make our sales page clearer and me doing little tiny sales page split tests to test this headline against that headline. The throughput of it, as long as it's good, I'm just looking at, am I acquiring my leads from all of my audiences on average for much less than I'm earning per lead on the other side? That's what I start looking at first before I think about any super granular tracking tools like Hyros. If anyone is, I just became an affiliate for it, and want me to like walk them through the back end of something, I'm happy to do so. Of course, not required, just throwing it out there. The thing that I do like about that is that it'll show you the ad journey. So they clicked on this ad and then they clicked on this ad. And so it's like, hey, if this is our commit lead generation ad, and then, oh, we threw a connect like nurture ad at them while they were going through the webinar process. And then they clicked on this ad, and that was the ad that actually got them to purchase the program. It'll show you all three of those steps. But I will say, I did not use a tool like Hyros until after I spent like 50 grand on this funnel. So it's absolutely not necessary as long as you're paying attention to all of the other data. Kind of like a long roundabout answer to it. Cost per lead spikes like around the election, very natural to happen. Another thing it could be is just creative fatigue. You could be trying to push a single creative too hard to too many audiences, and it just might temporarily not be working as well. So you could be testing out different creatives there to see if you can bring it down. Cost per lead spike. Did you make any changes to your landing pages? Again, that's why I love the daily reporting tab on this spreadsheet, because then because then you could just be like, hey, did whatever the last tweak that I made actually have a negative or a positive impact? One of them, the client's testing right now, we're doing a change a week. So whatever the change is, we like make that hypothesis of, excuse me, here's the change we're going to make. Here's what we think that change is going to do for us. And then you let it run for the week. And in the data, it's just going to tell you front and center, did that improve the throughput of that traffic or did it hurt it? And then if it hurt it, we just go back to the whatever the baseline was right before that, and then test the next thing and test the next thing. My whole like approach to this is very, very like systematic. It's just find the bottleneck, fix the bottleneck, find the bottleneck, fix the bottleneck, and do it over a long enough time period where this becomes an asset that serves you, continues to generate cash flow over the long run, Like, I know I've seen behind the scenes of so many businesses. So if this is any of you, I love you. And the industry has so many squirrel brained ass people that are like, let's launch this and then launch this. And then that didn't work. Let's launch this. It's like, no, literally just focus on one thing until it's profitable. Like that is the beauty of like tracking it this way, is because you get to step away from it at the end and be like, I know that works. I have all the data there to do it. But automating this process through this dashboard just makes it even easier, right? For us, Gary, I like usually just go back to baseline and then make the next change. So I don't retest baseline. It was like, when was it last converting the best? Okay, if that change actually hurt it, boom, just go back to the thing that was working because we have data that it did. Could it not then continue to work the week after? Maybe. Like we could have 2 failed tests and then it could be like, shit, well, did something actually change that wasn't the sales page? Did the ad creative change? Did the Advantage Plus audience now all of a sudden skew over here because Facebook thinks that's where people are coming from and they're shittier leads? Yeah, those things could happen. So like we're actually in a scenario right now with another client of, we did those tests, we went back to baseline, baseline's still not working like it was before. And now we get out our detective glasses to be like, why? Like what is different than it was previously? Amazing. Excellent, friends. Any other thoughts, questions? I'll make those slight changes to the tool and send it out. If anyone needs one that has like an extra row, let me know. I can always copy. Yeah, I'll for sure send out a replay because I know the tech stuff, like you want to go back while you're doing it for yours. Honestly, I wasn't going to do this because I know not everyone has the techie brain like some of you, where you can get very lost in this very easily. But if you're familiar with these tools, it's a game changer. These are like game changing dashboards, and then you just refer to them as you're optimizing it. And then optimize towards the ROI. Amazing. All right, friends, I will send out a replay if there's no more questions. Let me know once you get your dashboards automated. I want to cheer you on and celebrate because it's no small feat to connect all those pieces. You're welcome. See you guys next week.